Hi, I'm your cult boyfriend. Thanks for joining me for a bit of a discussion about Mississippi Mermaid, a François Truffaut film, starring, and this is the the real amazing part of it, Jean-Paul Belmondo and Catherine Deneuve. Amazing chemistry together. This film should be a lot more people should be talking about this film just because of the leads. Excellent chemistry. It's a really good Truffaut film. It's really great. Uh, uh, of course, if Catherine Deneuve is in a film, she's kind of the most interesting or engaging part of it for me normally, unless we're talking about Demi, who is able to not only juggle his fixation with Catherine, but also do tons of other things as well. When when she's in the grasp of some other director, they kind of hyperfixate on her and seem to kind of forget about doing other things. And Truffaut might be the most guilty of that kind of that kind of thing. Um, let's see. Catherine is phenomenal in this film. I think Truffaut gave Catherine her best characters. Along with the last Metro, Mississippi Mermaid. This is a phenomenal character with a lot of layers, and Truffaut frames her just like he would in the last Metro later on. He frames her as a distanced object. Of course she's objectified. Of course she's sexualized, but she's not made intimate, right? And that's because Truffaut, I think, thinks that she's so beautiful that she's unknowable. You know, that her beauty isn't the same as a Jean Moreau. And in Jim Moreau, in something like Jules and Jim, it was more about idolization. You know, not necessarily objectification, but idolization. And with Catherine Deneuve, I don't believe that Truffaut I don't think he thinks that her beauty is comprehensible. I think he finds her beauty incomprehensible, especially as a viewer. Whereas Jean Moreau's beauty was like pretty visceral. It was like stylistic, of course, and it was otherworldly occasionally, but it was still tactile. There was still a definite texture to it, and I think Truffaut has a hyper romantic way of viewing these women. And with Catherine Deneuve, he definitely views her as something unreachable, unknowable, as a distanced object. So I think he gives Catherine her greatest characters because there's a huge part of Truffaut that both admires her and adores her, finds her worthy of adoration, and there's another part of him that doesn't trust her, like on the grounds of her existence. You know, in both the last Metro and Mississippi Mermaid, she is a kind of duplicitous figure, or at least she's a figure who you never know exactly. I mean, she's a romantic double agent in Truffaut's eyes. That's who she is. She possesses an inner core, but it isn't necessarily revealed to either Truffaut or to the audience. It's an unknowable thing. It's a distance. It's a distance. It's a very erotic distance, but it's a distance nonetheless. It keeps her from being intimate, but definitely makes her sexualized. But that sexualization makes her an even lonelier archetype. So Truffaut used her really interestingly. I think that Jacques Demy directed her best because in films like Umbrellas of Cherbourg or Donkey Skin or The Young Girls of Rushford, she is the feminine ideal. She is angelic and she is perfect and always looks amazing. And Polanski also did really well with her, but of course he weaponized like her virginal qualities that Demi brought out of her and weaponized it in a horrific manner in Repulsion. Um, Buñuel just did his best to like deconstruct and defile and kind of turn the angelic into a kink in like Belle de Jour, Tristana, and stuff, and like he kind of succeeded. But it's Truffaut who really saw the inherent mystery in her, the melodramatic mystery of Catherine Deneuve, and brought it out wonderfully. This film is extremely Hitchcockian in composition, and I think that it's kind of, I mean, Truffaut's best nod to Hitchcock. Curiously enough, the film is dedicated to Jean Renoir, and Belmondo is excellent too. And like Belmondo is also like a super hot dude, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you're next to Catherine Deneuve, you're you're just vapor. You're nothing. You're vapor, man. Like I'm sorry, Jean Paul, but you can't hack it. But I mean, of course, Truffaut composes it this way to make him always inferior, always submissive to Catherine's unknowable whims and her strategies as this wild Hitchcockian glacial blonde femme fatale. And oh, man, I loved her in this film, and Truffaut clearly did too. But Truffaut didn't want to touch her. You know, Truffaut wanted to fantasize about her, but Truffaut also saw her as a dangerous commodity, as a dangerous thing. And in Last Metro, she's truly a heroic figure, but she's still distanced. Um, because I guess I would agree with Truffaut too. You know, like Catherine Deneuve's beauty is so there is a danger to it because it makes you forget yourself. I mean, she's so beautiful in film sometimes that it's distracting. I don't want to read subtitles. I just want to gaze and gawk, you know, like a stupefied mute. Like I don't want to, follow the story. I want to follow Catherine. And I think Truffaut is the same way. Mississippi Mermaid is an excellent film, and I don't typically use the word underrated, but I will with Mississippi Mermaid. It's really, really good. It's really good. I mean, I've only really talked about his use of Catherine Deneuve in this short video. I haven't even talked about like the actual themes of the film itself. Like it's a pretty complicated film. It's really sophisticated. It plays on Hitchcockian themes, but there's a demarcation every so often where Truffaut either inverses concepts entirely or he provides us with cliches disguised as send-ups, and it's still just as sophisticated and kind of interesting and wild. But it's really what he does with Deneuve that is most interesting. I mean, it's also interesting seeing how he treats Godard's muse or lapdog Belmondo as well. How he handles him in this film. He kind of, I mean, the submissive quality that he just kind of drowns Belmondo in this film is kind of disarming at first, but then it makes so much sense later on. That's partially due to Belmondo's like excellent abilities as an actor and as a screen presence, but also because Truffaut saw that kind of masculinity as something fragile, as something that is that's easily deconstructed, that's easily deflated, and all it takes is the most beautiful woman on the planet to bring down even the most sought after and like lusted over man. That's all it takes is one glacial blonde, one Catherine Deneuve, and that's the end of you. But you'll be thankful for it. You know, there's a scene where Belmondo is like tracing her face and describing her face all these parts of her, and it's like an idolizing moment, but there's still that distance. She is still this distanced object, and even while he's describing her to her face, like within a few like an inch or two away from her, uh, he still feels like there are oceans between them. But all he could do is just bask in the fact that he's even in her life, and since it's a lethal decision to be in love with such a beautiful woman, he's thankful for that experience. He's thankful for the experiential quality, even if it means his doom, and it like most certainly will mean his doom. And then she's actually like just so startled to see that this man will love her no matter what she does to him. He's a true believer. I too am a true believer in beautiful women. Certainly, Francois Truffaut was a true believer in beautiful women as well. He can champion them at their sexiest, and he can also champion them at their most demented. Because what's beauty without murder? Thanks for watching my video, guys. Watch Mississippi Mermaid if you haven't.